So I wanted to also be a fashion designer, and then I decided I wanted to be a Supreme Court Justice of the United States.
Care to tell me what this is all about? Or would you rather save it for the council?
Before I got the voice of Ahsoka, and that probably equated to about 400 auditions, and I was rejected by 400 auditions. So there was a lot of rejection, and whether you're looking to go into entertainment or whatever your dream is, I share that to say never give up, because had I given up, I never would have become the voice of Ahsoka. And trust me, I understand the rejection. I understand the heartbreak, and I'm so glad I kept going. So you could say that things were going well, because I also met my Prince Charming. As I said, I loved fairy tales, and my mom gave me some advice growing up. She said, Ashley, when you meet the right one, you'll just know.
You'll know it.
And I didn't believe her. I was like, yeah, Mom, okay. It's not that easy. But she was right. After I did That's So Raven, I saw that you could directly impact someone's life, because we would record in front of a live audience like this, and I saw kids, and I saw that you could make a difference, and that was a game changer for me. And this was well before I became the voice of Ahsoka, but I said, if I'm so lucky to have a character where I can help make a difference in people's lives, that's what I want. And that was my dream. And I literally threw that dream out into the universe. And I feel so fortunate to have become the voice of Ahsoka. So knowing that that was my dream, I became very curious. So, when you hear the expression curiouser and curiouser, in the beginning, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh yeah, that's what they say in Alice in Wonderland. But honestly, it's the best piece of advice I could give. Be curious. Ask questions. Look into things. If you don't know the answer, or if something doesn't exist, be curious. Ask why it doesn't exist. Ask why it isn't happening. And so that's what I started doing. So here I was, sitting on my couch in Toronto, Canada, and I said, okay, I don't want to give up. Instead of focusing on what I don't have, I'm going to focus on what I do have. So I'm the voice of this soon-to-be Star Wars character, and I have a laptop, and I have a cell phone. What can I do with that? And so I started getting the idea to make merchandise for female fans, because I wanted more Star Wars clothes made for me. And I had gone shopping one time and came up empty-handed. And I realized that at the time, merchandise for female Star Wars fans literally didn't exist. I mean, we walk around Disney Springs now, because truly, Disney Springs has the best merchandise. This is where I come first and foremost for everything. But it didn't exist. So I became curious, because I thought, well, this isn't right. I see female fans everywhere. I'm a female fan, and I know I'm not alone. So I started doing my research, and I found out that 45% of all Star Wars fans and sci-fi and fantasy fans were women and girls. Now keep in mind, it's higher than that now, but that was back in 2008, 2009. And then 85% of consumer purchases were made by women. So I'm not a mathematician, but those numbers were not adding up. If almost half of all fans were women and girls, and 85% of all consumer purchases were being made by women, why weren't they giving us more stuff to buy? We would buy it. But also in my research, that was back when message boards were really, really big, and blogs were really, really big. I read story after story of women and girls who were being bullied, and being bullied terribly for just being a Star Wars fan and being who they are. And, especially some women would pretend to be men just so that they could have a conversation about Star Wars online. Or little girls would be bullied for carrying Star Wars water bottles to school. And I thought, this is no way to live, because we know being a Star Wars fan or being a Disney fan, it's a part of you. It's a part of who you are. It's not a trend. It's literally a part of your heart and soul. There's a need here for merchandise, and what would Ahsoka do? And my answer was Ahsoka would stand up for female fans. Ahsoka would create a community, a safe space where female fans could step into the spotlight, be themselves, and say, hi, I'm a girl and I'm a Star Wars fan. And so that's what I did. I started a company. So that's me literally from home on my couch with my laptop. And I started my company, Her Universe. And I found a manufacturing partner to help me make the merchandise. And I went to Lucasfilm and got a license. That's another story for another time. They told me no twice, so I had to go back and rethink things. But eventually, after I went about it the right way, they gave me a license. And this was actually our very first promotional shot. We started with literally just t-shirts made for women for Star Wars. And
you have to start somewhere. You do.
Well, now we have dresses and skirts and blazers and jeans and everything. But at the time, just a t-shirt made for women was unheard of. So it was a lot of hard work. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was years. I mean, I ran Her Universe for 6 years until I eventually sold it to the Hot Topic family of brands. And then I went on to continue to run the company and still, continue to help run the company to this day. But I'm not going to lie. There was a period of time where I worked for 4 years straight, 365 days out of the year, never took a day off, from the minute I woke up until the minute I went to bed. And I was exhausted. I was burnt out. And I had lost myself in the business a little bit, wouldn't you say? Wow. But it didn't matter because it had gone viral online. And I had all the support in the world. But I had never experienced what it was like to be cyberbullied. And it honestly, it affects you. I mean, it really messed with my mind, and I thought it's too late for me. It's not too late for my kids, but it's too late for me. It's never too late. My favorite song, and it's because of my mom, our favorite song is When You Wish Upon a Star. And,
well, we would always go out, and I still do this today. If you go out and you look up and you see a star, I don't know how many of you all remember this, or if you ever heard of it, but remember starlight, star bright, first wishes. Star I see tonight. Wishes. Say it with me. Wish I may, wish I might, have this wish I wish tonight. And we just did it all the time. I still do. And I have wishes. I'm not dead yet.
Well, no. Because my mom taught me, I'm going to be wishing until the day I die. It's never too late for your dreams. So it's never too late. Now is the time to curate your dreams. So we're going to get to throwing our dreams out into the universe in a minute. But before we do that, I want us to have some time for Q&A. So I believe Kelsey is going to read off some of your questions.
For Disney Springs. And yes, thank you. I appreciate that. If you follow us on Instagram, you may have seen we actually did a takeover with Ashley on International Women's Day. I had the pleasure of working with her for that, and I'm so honored to be on stage with you today, here with your mom, to
feelings mutual.
Another Q&A. So let's jump into it. These guys really brought the questions. So
I'm excited.
Over 50 of them. I'm going to try to get through a few. So thank you all so much for the questions. We'll start off really easy.
Okay.
Who's your favorite Star Wars character and why?
Oh. So my favorite Star Wars character is actually R2-D2. Yes. To me, R2 is one of the most underrated heroes in Star Wars. If you think of it, R2's always there to save the day. And now that I think of it, I should go back and revise this presentation because I should put a picture of R2-D2 in the beginning, because I used to play Star Wars in our living room when I was a little kid with my brother, and we would pretend that that our orange shag carpet, was not my mom's favorite, was the desert of Tatooine, and I would pretend to be R2-D2. So I wanted to be R2.
I love that story. That's great. All right, so speaking about her universe, what kind of hurdles did you hit when creating Star Wars and Marvel fashion targeted to girls, and how did you overcome them?
Ooh, you said hurdles, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, that is a great question. Because I was met with hurdles and brick walls every step of the way, starting from the beginning. Everyone told me no. Everyone said, at first they literally told me no. And then when I came back and did everything they told me to do, kind of like when my mom said about the beauty pageant, no, Ashley, come back to me when you're 10. So I came back to her when I was 10. I did that with getting a license from Lucasfilm. They told me no, but they said, we only work with reputable companies and we only give out licenses. So I went and started my own company and figured out how to apply for a license and came back. And at that point, they were incredibly supportive. But everyone said, they were like, we've never been able to sell merchandise to female fans. Why are you going to be different? And I literally had another company tell me, oh, there's absolutely no money to make in selling merchandise to fangirls. But here was my secret. It was never about the money. It never was. Most people actually don't realize, I will say this today, I've never said this publicly, I never took a paycheck when I ran her universe. I never made $1 from running her universe. That's just because it was always being reinvested into the company, and it wasn't about that. To me, it was about creating a safe space, creating a community where fans could come together, not just female fans, but male fans, because Star Wars is for everyone, where everyone could come together and celebrate Star Wars. And so I thought that if I could create this safe space, then create this community, then people will want to buy the merchandise because they're going to feel like they're a part of the community. But my rule from day one was, her universe, yes, it's 2 parts. It is a merchandise line, but more importantly, we're a community, and it's always been community first. So I'll tell you guys today, I so appreciate your support of her universe. But what's more important to me is that you feel like you are a part of something, that you are a part of our community. I don't care if you ever buy a single t-shirt, but if you feel like you're a part of something and this is a safe space and a bully-free zone, then to me, then that's job well done. And so, thank you. So I was able to prove sales because you all helped. I said from day one, I said, united we stand, divided we fall. If we want to break the stigma surrounding, the sci-fi fantasy genre, if we want to break the stigma that Star Wars is just for men and boys or Marvel is just for men and boys, then we all have to do it together. It wasn't just my voice. It was our voice. And so we all did this together. It wasn't just me. Round of applause to you too.
Thank you. This one really touched me, and I think we could all kind of relate to this one in a way. Ahsoka really helped me get through a lot of things and helped me understand that it's okay to be different. When was the moment you realized your character had impacted so many people?
Oh my gosh, y'all are gonna make me cry.
I almost read it. I almost cried when I read it.
I know. I knew Ahsoka was different from the very beginning, before you even met her. And that's why when she came out, and she was a little annoying and a little snippy in the beginning, and even I admitted she was a little annoying and snippy in the beginning, I begged for patience. I said, give her a shot, because we were always a season ahead of what you guys were seeing. So I knew how much she had grown just in one season. So thankfully everyone did. You stuck with Ahsoka, and, I would say about after, season 3, she really hit her stride. But something happened when she walked away from the Jedi Order at the end of season 5, where I feel like Ahsoka, really started to become the icon that she is today. Because I think she proved to us in that moment, the darkest moment where there was no light left. I mean, literally, she walked away from everything that she knew. Ahsoka proved that there's always hope, and there's always light, even in the darkest of times. And to me, Star Wars has always meant hope. Star Wars has always meant good overcoming evil. But at that moment, Ahsoka became hope to me. And if I could leave you with one thing with Ahsoka, and she reminds me of this every day, because trust me, the past 2 years, I've been through some really dark times and devastating times where, honestly, I wanted to just walk away from everything. I mean, my family will tell you, there was conversations where I was just like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know if I'm strong enough for this. Ahsoka gave me hope. Ahsoka proves that there's always light, even in the darkest of times. Even if you can't see it, trust me, it's there. So I would say it was that moment when she walked away from the Jedi Order and then obviously went on and got through Order 66 and then fought Vader. There's many moments when Ahsoka proves that there's always light in the darkness. But that moment, I feel like it really changed for me.
So someone did ask, now that you brought it up, do you think you would have walked away from the Jedi Order like Ahsoka did? Yes. Because I really do ask myself on a daily basis, what would Ahsoka do? I really wake up every day and strive to be a real life version of Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka is literally in my heart and in my soul, and that's why I actually, started the hashtag on social media this year, Ahsoka lives in all of us, because I feel like after 13 years of Ahsoka stories, we've taken all of the lessons and all of the wisdom that she's taught us, and we've put it in our heart and in our soul, and she guides us. She guides our thoughts and our decisions. But Ahsoka inspires me to always do what's right, to help others no matter what, to be selfless, to be kind. And I feel like Ahsoka was justified in that moment when she walked away from the Jedi Order. And you could argue what was right or what was wrong, but to her, that she no longer trusted in everything she believed in, and she didn't even trust her own decisions. And I think and I have been in similar situations like that. I have walked away, and I would continue to do so. I think all of us can relate to Ahsoka's journey.
Yes.
In different ways. What is the best advice to girls who are struggling to find their way and make their dreams a reality?
Well, I hope you wrote down those 6 questions. And also, not to sit here and plug my own book, but since we are, the big part of this talk was about what is in the book. The book that I got to write for Disney Books, it is a roadmap on how to dream it and do it. And I share my story, but only as an example, as a guide to say, well, here's what I did, here's how I did it, here's why I believed I could, but here's how you can do it too. And this was literally only a fraction of what's in the book. And so I do recommend, if you have a dream and you're looking just for some guidance, it's chock full of advice. And it's advice taught to me by my parents, it's advice taught to me by Disney cast members, it's advice taught to me by all sorts of mentors along the way, including advice from Disney characters and Disney movies. So I do recommend checking that out. But one of, I would say, the biggest pieces of advice in there, and I talked about it with Becoming the Voice of Ahsoka, is don't be afraid to fail. I feel like we glorify success. We glorify overnight success. There's no phrase I hate more than overnight success, because it's not a thing. Really, people work so hard to get where they're at. And someone is an overnight success because that may be the first time you're hearing about them. But no, behind every overnight success is someone that's worked tremendously hard to get there. But don't be afraid to fail. I've learned my biggest lessons, my most important lessons during moments of failure. And it doesn't even have to be moments of failure that you did. Maybe it's a moment where, like what I found myself sitting on my couch in Toronto. That happened to me. But I looked at it as a failure. I considered myself a failure. It wasn't. I didn't do anything. Somebody else did that to me. But in my mind, it was a moment of failure. Don't run from it. Look at that moment of failure and learn from it. Because trust me, your most valuable advice is in that moment of failure.
Didn't Walt Disney...
oh yeah, he has
several
quotes about it.
Yes, Mickey Mouse came from a very dark time.
Yeah, came from a failure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's always a good reminder. I think failure is really scary for people, but it's part of the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got time for one more, and I wanted to highlight one that came across. We all don't have a lot of huge platforms to speak, and we all, I think, want to inspire ourselves, inspire others. Is there any advice you have for folks wanting to help inspire young girls or even their friends every day? Like, what's one takeaway you would leave with them?
Be kind.
So I love this question because I have a rule with social media, and I know we live in a society where it's all about how many followers do you have, how many likes are you getting, how many comments do you have, whether, it's your profession or whether it's just, it's your friends at school. I understand the pressures, but you will get consumed and in the wrong way if that is your focus. So I implemented a rule, and my rule was that on social media, I just need to make a difference with one person each day. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try. I might not always feel like I succeed, but I'm going to try to make a difference with just one person. And when I say a difference, try to make a connection, try to give a kind comment, try to help someone. And if I can just reach one person, then to me, my job is done that day. And hopefully I can help more, but that is what is important to me. And it's not about how many people you reach. To me, it's just about the quality of that interaction, and how did you make that person feel? Did you help them? Did you improve their day? Did you inspire them?
Well, being sincere and genuine, because the person you're helping can feel that. You can spot a fake always, but just sincere, genuine, make somebody happy that day.
Yeah, and actually I will leave with this. Because I have a feeling the majority of people here are Ahsoka fans. This is something I learned this past year. It was pointed out to me, and it really has completely changed the way I look at Ahsoka and how Ahsoka inspires me. One of the things that makes Ahsoka so powerful is her kindness. Kindness is powerful. And I often looked at kindness as a weakness. Especially, I'm going to say this, I don't mean this to be stereotypical, but I am a person with many emotions. And so, I have a lot of emotions. And so I always looked at kindness as not necessarily strength. And it was actually pointed out to me that it's the opposite, that kindness is powerful. And if you look at Ahsoka, it's what makes her so powerful is her kindness. So when you stop and ask yourself, what would Ahsoka do? I challenge you to think of kindness and to be kind, because you're going to show tremendous power in that moment. And when it comes to helping people, it's not about how many. It's just try to help one person and try to spread kindness, because it's so powerful.
It's always a good reminder. Kindness is a superpower.
It is.
It really
is.
It really is.
Well, thank you guys so much for your questions.
Yes,
I'm actually going to
thank
turn
you.
it back over to Ashley. She's got a special guest she's going to introduce.
Yes.
Thank
so
you.
I have a surprise. Okay, I am all about throwing your dreams out into the universe and saying them out loud and having tangible experiences. So I recently moved and met one of my new neighbors. Well, I was on a walk in the neighborhood, and I met a wonderful woman named Kira, and she said, oh my gosh, we got to know each other, and she said, well, my daughter, Tori, is a singer. And I said, oh, well, let me go find her on Instagram. And so I did, and I was blown away by her talent, like literally blown away. So Tori and I and Kira got together for coffee, and we just talked about dreams. And she was just asking advice and how to get out there. And so I had just started working with Disney Springs on this event. And I said, well, do you want to perform in front of a whole group of people? And she was like, sure. And so I asked Disney Springs, and they were so kind. So I am super excited to introduce you to Victoria Rose. She is an up-and-coming artist. Trust me, y'all are gonna fall in love with her just like I have. But she has a special treat for you and for me. I asked her if she could sing When You Wish Upon a Star. Aww. And so as she sings, trust me, it's one of the most beautiful renditions that you're ever gonna hear. But I want you all to throw your dreams out to the universe. I want you to, if you want to lean to the person next to you and say them out loud, or if you just want to say it to yourself. But I want you to make a wish. I want you to make a wish, and I want you to believe that the dreams that you wish can and do come true. So please help me welcome to the stage Victoria Rose.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do. Fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. Like a bolt out of the blue, fate steps in and sees you through. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
Victoria Rose! Oh my God! Okay, now Tori, you have to tell everyone where they can find you on the social media, and you also have a new song coming out this Friday, don't you?
Yes, so you can find me on my website and all my social media, which is Victoria Rose Music, and I have a new single coming out on Friday, March 26th, and it's called Caught Between. And you can find me on all streaming platforms at Victoria Rose, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could give it a listen. And I want to say thank you again, Ashley, for having me and performing for all of you guys.
So thanks to Disney and all of the amazing cast members who put together this in-person event. Like, isn't this just incredible that we come together in person? And safely come together in person. But in order to do this safely, unfortunately, we can't have a meet and greet afterwards, because y'all know how I love to talk to everyone and meet and take photos and sign autographs. So I didn't want to send you away empty-handed. So every single person here gets a signed Ahsoka Tano poster.